Leno, Liu, Lowenthal, Maldonado, Negrete McLeod, Oropesa, Padilla, Pavley, Price, Romero, Runner, Smidian, Steinberg, Strickland, Walters, Wiggins, Wolk, Wright, Weiland, Yee. Mr. President.
Members, a quorum is present, and would the members and our guests be on the rail and gallery please rise. We're going to be led in prayer this morning by our guest chaplain, Georgia Prescott. After which, please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance today by Senator Maldonado.
I invite you to turn your attention now to the one presence by many names: God, Allah, I Am, Sacred Grandmother Tree, Divine Intelligence, Omnipresent Love. It is in this moment of turning our attention to this universal power for good that the connection is made. And when the connection is made, the correction will come. Corrections needed to meet the growing needs of Californians, young and old, those born here and those who came here for a better life. May each senator here today feel the blessing of the one. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Senate. Thank you. Senator Corbett is recognized at Pro Tem's desk.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would like to ask that permission to take photos on the floor of the Senate, and I would also like to ask the Senate to turn their attention to a very important presentation this morning. I'm very proud to rise on this floor to honor a very long time and very dedicated and loyal member of our Senate staff who has decided to retire, but I don't think she'll be too far away, and that is Gloria Mahina Ochoa, who is Deputy Chief Counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee. And Gloria, can Gloria join me here on the floor? Gloria has been, yes, thank you very much. Big round of applause for Gloria. Gloria has been a loyal member of the Senate staff for over 14 years, and she's joined here this morning by her mother, Marcella, her son, Kiko, her sister, Haiti, and her niece, Samantha, and obviously many, many friends of her Capitol family are here with us this morning as well. And I wanted to highlight a few things of Gloria's career. Those of you who know her, who have worked with her, those of you who have had bills before the Senate Judiciary Committee, know very well of her tenacity and her loyalty to process and her ability to make sure that everything is done just right. Gloria has contributed extensively here to the legislative process, but I think she's most proud of her work in the women's movement and her work helping draft legislation such as the Domestic Violence Prevention Act. She has been a long time, beyond her many, many hours she spent here at the Capitol, she has been a long-time associate and volunteer at My Sister's House, a CBO that provides wonderful service here in the Sacramento area to women and victims of domestic violence, and we thank her for that too. She is, of course, a public-spirited and civic-minded individual, and just a few things to note. That if we had a trivia game this morning, I bet some of you might know the answer and some might not know. Did any of you know that Gloria was once a county supervisor from the county of Santa Barbara? Did any of you know that Gloria's degree from UC Davis is in chemistry? And we all know, of course, that she has been a proud member of the staff for many years. I know we have a busy agenda this morning, but I just wanted to have the opportunity to recognize Gloria for her many, many years of dedicated service, and once again use that word tenacity to make sure things were always right as legislation passed before her in her review in the state Senate, and we will miss her. I think the one thing that I can really say, a moment of a story I can tell about Gloria, and it's not a story that happened only once. I remember many times here on the floor of the Senate and in committee when bills that were particularly difficult and bills that were particularly historic, and you know we deal with some very difficult issues in the Judiciary Committee, where I would see Gloria not only proud of the work she'd done, but with tears in her eyes, and the difference we have had an opportunity to make as senators with her help in the change to make lives better for people throughout the state of California, and her grand and great tenacity to make sure that we protect civil rights and protect those that are most vulnerable. So Gloria, I have been so proud to be associated with you. We will miss you so much. I know that you are happy because you will be able to spend more time with your grandchildren, and that's really the purpose, I think, of your retirement, to do that. But we thank you for your many, many years of service, Gloria. It's been an honor to be associated with you.
Wow. I just wanted to say thank you so much for helping me celebrate my retirement today. I started my legal career as a counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Many of you may not know that. Byron Gregory hired me so many years ago. This was in 1976, and I stayed here for a little bit. And then I took off and did other things. I remember some of you very well. At the start of your careers. I even remember Senator Maldonado when he was running for City Council of Guadalupe in Santa Barbara and Santa Maria County. So many, many years ago. And I remember, you know, some of you who have authored great legislation that have made a lot of difference in the state of California. I'm very proud of having started and will now end my full-time work. Actually, I'm not going to retire to not do anything. Obviously, I'm going to go visit my grandson a lot and my children. My son is here, my niece is here, going to UC Davis, and I'm going to be very busy with family life, but at the same time, I have a commitment to continue my work in domestic violence, in the area of social policy, and so I hope to continue that. But I will be ending my career in law here, just exactly where I began. So I appreciate the celebration, and thank you all for being very supportive of the Senate Judiciary Committee, because sometimes we are the ones that have to take the brunt for all the work that we do and all the criticism, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
And the Pro Tem and I would like to present this resolution commemorating all of Gloria's wonderful work. If resolution frames were a little longer, I think Gloria's would be at least down to here. But I take great pride in presenting this to you, Gloria, a resolution commemorating all of your great deeds here in the state capitol. There will be cake in room 211 also to celebrate and honor Gloria. Please stop by and say hello to her. Thank you.
Senator Flores?
Yes, okay. Senator Steinberg is recognized as desk.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd like to take up a set of confirmations now, beginning with item 65, Michael Peavy.
Senator Steinberg.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and members. I rise to support the nomination, encourage the support for the nomination of Michael Peavy as a member of the Public Utilities Commission. We all know Mr. Peavy's long and rich history of public service. Yesterday, his nomination was heard in the Rules Committee and was approved by a vote of 5-0. There was no opposition. There is no doubt that Mr. Peavy is highly qualified and that he presides over a complex area, namely energy. We challenged him yesterday, and he accepted the challenge to pursue an aggressive agenda that includes pathways for high school students to be included in the world of green technology. We look forward to working with him. I ask for an aye vote for Mike Peavy as a member of the Public Utilities Commission.
Okay. Members, any debate or discussion? Senator Padilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I too rise in support of confirmation for Commissioner Peavy. Just as chair of the Energy Committee, wanted to rise and comment on what I believe has been a great working relationship with the Commission and the Commission President specifically over the course of the last year. We know we've had a lot of challenges in the utility and energy sector specifically. Our goals to reduce greenhouse gases, our efforts to increase the renewable energy mandate in the state of California, our goals to better move some of the economic stimulus dollars from Washington to the state on down to communities for the purposes of putting people back to work and improve the way our energy infrastructure is operated. Every step of the way, Commissioner Peavy and his staff have been available, have been helpful, have been cooperative as far as my experience has gone, and I think those of you who have reached out to the PUC can usually attest to the same. So I'm grateful that he's been reappointed. With the confirmation today, we'll continue to see his leadership at the Commission and the good work continue. Ask for your aye vote.
Members, any more debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Senator Steinberg, you may close.
Really, sir. Urgent aye vote, please.
Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Onnested? Aye. Alquist? Ashburn? Aye. Calderon? Cedillo? Aye. Cogdill? Aye. Corbett? Aye. Correa? Aye. Cox? Aye. Denham? Aye. DeSaulnier? Aye. Ducheney? Dutton? Aye. Flores? Hancock? Harmon? Aye. Hollingsworth? Aye. Huff? Aye. Kehoe? Aye. Leno? Aye. Liu? Lowenthal? Aye. Maldonado? Aye. Negrete McLeod? Aye. Oropesa? Padilla? Aye. Pavley? Price? Romero? Aye. Runner? Aye. Smidian? Aye. Steinberg? Aye. Strickland? Aye. Walters? Aye. Wiggins? Wolk? Aye. Wright? Wyland? Aye. Yee? Yee, aye. Flores, no. Mr. President, ayes 28, noes 1.
Ayes 28, noes 1. The appointment is passed. Senator Steinberg.
Thank you. I'd like to take up item 66, please. This is the confirmation of Bonnie Garcia and George Plesha as members of the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board. Both of these nominees were considered yesterday in the Rules Committee, approved on a 5-0 vote. Ms. Garcia, of course, a former colleague of many of us, is the chair and by all accounts has done a good job of administering a troubled board where we have received many employee complaints. She has, under her leadership, has reduced the backlog of complaints from some 96,000 to about 70,000. And we expect, and I'm confident, that that number will continue to trend downward. Mr. Plesha is the vice chair and also has gotten good marks for his work. I pointed out at the hearing yesterday that, and they agreed that there is a difference between our voting records and our opinions as legislators, especially when it comes, say, to labor and employment-related issues, and the role of a judge, which is essentially what these two nominees are. And I think they have done a very good job distinguishing those two roles. And as we have reviewed their decisions, we have found them balanced and right down the middle. This agency is troubled. They are hampered in their efforts to address the backlog by the furlough issue imposed on the board, even though they are federally funded. And so this is an issue, the condition of this entity, agency, the unemployment issue, that we intend to take a very serious look at as the next year begins. Urge an aye vote on these nominees.
Members, debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, would the Secretary please call the roll?
Onnested? Aye. Alquist? Ashburn? Aye. Calderon? Cedillo? Aye. Cogdill? Aye. Corbett? Aye. Correa? Aye. Cox? Aye. Denham? Aye. Dusanier? Aye. Ducheney? Dutton? Aye. Flores? Hancock? Harmon? Aye. Hollingsworth? Aye. Huff? Aye. Kehoe? Aye. Leno? Aye. Liu? Aye. Lowenthal? Aye. Maldonado? Negrete McLeod? Aye. Oropesa? Padilla? Aye. Pavley? Price? Aye. Romero? Aye. Runner? Aye. Simidian? Aye. Steinberg? Aye. Strickland? Aye. Walters? Aye. Wiggins? Wolk? Aye. Wright? Aye. Wyland? Aye. Yee? Yee, aye. Maldonado, aye. Mr. President, ayes 31.
Ayes 31, noes 0. The appointment is approved. Senator Steinberg.
Thank you. Finally, item 67, Mr. Jan Sturla, the Director of the Department of Child Support Services. We heard Mr. Sturla in August and put his vote over because while he is qualified and is doing a good job, this is another troubled entity of state government. We are ranked 51st in the nation in cost effectiveness when it comes to child support collection, and we cannot afford to be there. Mr. Sturla has been responsive and has given us a series of benchmarks and goals for improving that woeful statistic, with the recognition that every dollar that this agency doesn't collect in child support is a dollar that government could in fact be asked to provide. This man is qualified. He will do a good job, but this is another agency that we need to keep a close eye on. I would urge an aye vote.
Members, any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, would the Secretary please call the roll?
Onnested? Aye. Alquist? Ashburn? Aye. Calderon? Cedillo? Aye. Cogdill? Aye. Corbett? Aye. Correa? Aye. Cox? Aye. Denham? Dusanier? Ducheney? Dutton? Aye. Flores? Aye. Hancock? Harmon? Aye. Hollingsworth? Aye. Huff? Aye. Kehoe? Aye. Leno? Liu? Aye. Lowenthal? Aye. Maldonado? Aye. Negrete McLeod? Aye. Oropesa? Padilla? Aye. Pavley? Price? Romero? Aye. Runner? Aye. Simidian? Aye. Steinberg? Strickland? Aye. Walters? Aye. Wiggins? Wolk? Aye. Wright? Aye. Wyland? Aye. Yee? Yee, aye. Dusanier, aye. Denham, aye. Steinberg, aye. Leno, I. Oropesa, I. Price, I.
Please call the absentees.
Alquist, Calderon, Ducheney, Hancock, Pavley, Wiggins.
Ayes 33, noes 0. The appointment is confirmed. Senator Steinberg.
Senator Romero, please.
Senator Romero, under desk.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Before I announce Education Committee, I'm going to ask you to help welcome two guests who are here in the Capitol today. They are Ben Austin, Executive Director of the Parent Revolution, as well as Shirley Ford, the lead community organizer. Please welcome them to the California State Senate. And members, I'm going to announce that Education Committee will meet immediately off the floor in room 3191.
Members, the chairwoman of the Senate Education has called a hearing in room 3191 immediately, and we will now return members to adjourn in memory of Senator Steinberg. Will the members of the Senate Education Committee please proceed to room 3191?
I'm going to go first on it, Sam. Either way, what would you?
Senator Steinberg.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Would like to adjourn in the memory of a gentleman who we all got to know over the years, veteran lobbyist Don Peterson. This was one of the true gentlepersons of the state capitol. Don Peterson passed away last week. He died of pancreatic cancer. And he had had a number of health challenges over the last several years, and yet despite those challenges, we saw him, sometimes in a wheelchair, sometimes not, here in the Capitol, continuing to do his work on behalf of local governments. As Dan Walters wrote in the newspaper a day or two ago, you never know. We work with people every day, and yet sometimes it's only after they pass away that we learn about what an incredible history they actually had in life. A former elected official, Humboldt County supervisor, former political science professor, a chief of staff to a Republican, but a chief of staff to a Democrat, Barry Keene, who had defeated Don Peterson in the legislative race. Would any of that happen today, I wonder? Sometimes we can learn a lot from the stories of the past. Don was a fierce advocate on behalf of mostly local government, but as I said, he could always a gentleman, could always trust his word, and was really the prototype of what an advocate and a lobbyist should be. And we remember him fondly. Our condolences, of course, go out to his wife, Marge. And we rise today in honor of Don Peterson and his contribution to the people of the state of California. Thank you.
Senator Anastat.
Thank you, Mr. President. President Pro Tem Steinberg used the word trust. That's the word I would use with Don Peterson. I first met him when I was running for the Assembly. Didn't know who he was. Came into my campaign office and looked to be very unassuming, and I'm saying, who is this person? He left with me immediately liking him and saying, I need to know more about him. This was a man who for 25 years had rural California in his heart. He came from rural California, went to the urban areas and learned how to play the game, but never forgot about the hard-working men and women out in the sticks. He had a company that represented many rural counties, many of them mine. And I will tell you that I can't think of anybody who I respect more for his knowledge, his intelligence, his demeanor. He was well-liked, but most of all, I trusted him. He'll be missed, and although he never served as a legislator, he truly was an elder statesman.
Thank you, Senator Anastat. Senator Wiggins.
Colleagues, last week we lost a friend, and the Capitol lost one of its icons with the passing of Don Peterson. Born in San Francisco in 1938, Don Peterson was raised in Humboldt County, where he graduated from Arcata High School and as class valedictorian. After high school, he studied political science at Humboldt State University, ultimately receiving his master's degree in political science at the University of California at Berkeley. By 1964, at the age of just 26, Don began teaching political science at Humboldt State University. 5 years later, he entered politics, winning a seat as a Humboldt County supervisor. After leaving the board in 1976, Don served as the chief of staff to Senate Majority Leader Barry Keene before creating his own lobbying firm in 1986, where he began his long career and storied career protecting the needs of people living in rural counties. But I will remember him not for his accolades, nor the issues he testified on before me in committee. I will remember him for him, a person of honesty, sincerity, and gracefulness. I will remember his honest advice when I was a rookie assemblywoman and as a newly elected senator to his hometown. I will remember his sincere friendship for more than 11 years. And I will always admire his grace in which he handled the untimely death of his son and horrible car accident he and his wife endured shortly thereafter. Yesterday, Dan Walters wrote he was one of the good guys, and I don't think it can be described any more pure than that. He left a lasting impression on me, on my staff, and many members in the Capitol community. He will be missed, but never forgotten. So thank you, Don, for just being you.
Thank you, Senator Wiggins. Senator Wolk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, would like to make some statements about Don Peterson. He represented many of my counties, and I knew him well, and I will miss his counsel. He not only knew a great deal about local government, its history and the importance in the state of California of strong local government, but he also understood our building and our process and how we come to decisions. He was wise and knowledgeable and extremely positive, even in the face of personal adversity. He was an extraordinary problem solver, and I will miss his counsel. Thank you. Please adjourn in memory.
Thank you, Senator Wolk. Senator Maldonado.
Mr. President and members, I came to this city in 1998 as I was a city council member at the time, and one of the first persons that I had the opportunity to meet was Peterson. I never knew him as Don, I just called him Peterson. And whether it was down the hallway or anything, I just, hey Peterson, what's up? And he was an amazing man. He taught me a lot about what I learned in this process of this building that Senator Wolk just talked about. I remember my first week in office, he comes to me and I says, I want to do this, I want to do that. And he says, Abel, government was designed to move slow. He says, it's just designed to move slow. So you need to take little bites at the apple, and at the end, you'll get some satisfaction. And I said to myself, very good advice from a man that we all respect. And all I can say is that he represented the county of San Luis Obispo for many, many years. And the people of San Luis Obispo were very grateful to him because he always gave it his all for the people that he worked for. And at the end, he never lost sight of what Senator Onestad talked about. He never lost sight about rural California, which was his love. But I'll never forget also when he came to my office and he said, Abel, I got in a car accident. And I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. This man was in a wheelchair. He couldn't walk. And I said, what are you doing here? He said, I love this place. I'm going to continue to work. And that's just who Don Peterson was. So may you rest in peace, Peterson. Thank you for your service and dedication to our country.
Thank you, Senator Maldonado. Senator Denham.
I also rise to adjourn in memory. Don was a good friend, not only a good friend to many of us, to all of us, but he was a mentor. You know, he's somebody that you first came into office, and I think we all have a lot of those stories, very humbling experiences where somebody did not let their own personal handicaps get in the way of the job that needed to get done. And Don, you know, we were fighting a number of different battles for our counties that we were working on together, and he obviously always gave good advice, whether it was the you know, trial reimbursement funding or you know, negative bailout for Stanislaus County, some issues that have been tough, controversial issues. He was there working and giving a lot of good advice. We want to make things happen quickly. And there are certainly some very knowledgeable veteran lobbyists that are more than just that really understand the process, that understand the dynamics, that understand the personalities, and can give good advice and actually help to mentor young politicians that come into office on how to better represent their communities. Don did all of that, and he'll be sorely missed by all of us.
Thank you, Senator Denham. Senator Cedillo is recognized at his desk.
Yes, I just want to add to that chorus. Peterson, as Abel referred to him. You know, my district is downtown Los Angeles, urban, the consummate urban district, and so there weren't a lot of issues that we spoke about. But what a fixture that he was while he was here. What a gentleman. What a positive and encouraging voice. My issues, the issues that I fought for while I've been here, aren't necessarily issues that he would have any interest in, any understanding of, or any motivation to be involved in. And yet he always, I have to share with you, always had an encouraging word, was very polite, was a gentleman, and created part of what this culture is, part of this institution, part of what it means to be a senator. He was just a giant of a man, and he stood tall every single day. And I just saw him recently. I'm so shocked when I heard the news because, as Abel mentioned, he was unfettered by his physical condition. He loved this place, as we all should. He was an inspiration. And I remember talking to him at the last time we were here, him and his wife, just sharing our warm wishes for each other. And so I just want to join that chorus of those who admire this great man of this institution and say that we should all aspire to be like Peterson. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cedillo. Senator Leno, you're recognized at your desk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that you join me, colleagues, today in remembering the life of Ashley Yamachi, a 33-year-old woman, a loving mother, devoted sister, daughter, friend, nanny to 2 young children, who was brutally raped and murdered in the otherwise tranquil town of San Rafael 1 year ago yesterday. And I ask that you join me in remembering her life, though it was taken a year ago, because her case is still open. And for all of those who have suffered the brutal horror of violent crime, we want to shine a light on the fact of it and to make sure that justice is done. And so her community of friends and family in San Rafael have brought this request to me. And I know this is an issue of concern for all of us here. So we want to remember her life, remember how she lost her life, and that her assailant should know that he will be brought to justice. Thank you.
Senator Cedillo.
Yes, I just spoke a second ago about a man who lived a very long and rich life with great pain, a great sense of tragedy. You should know that my office runs a program called Young Senators. And each year from every high school in our district, we take a handful of people and engage them in a Saturday leadership program, a program of civic engagement. This year, I met a young man named Adnan Salek, really bright young man. He's a trustee of the South Pasadena School District. He was a representative for 4,000 students with adults. He was just this bright young man with this great, brilliant future. He was to turn 18 on Monday. Tragically, over the weekend, inexperienced as he was, he consumed too much alcohol, as young people in this country frequently do. Binge drinking, unexperienced, not knowing the limits, and tragically he passed away from a high school party on Friday night. He was a great leader of his school. His family, an immigrant family, mourns him with great pain, as does the community. And I think it's appropriate that we close in the memory of this young man who had so much promise. This young senator who had a great future is tragically no longer with us. But we should take the lesson of his passing and figure out what we can do for young people to make sure that no one ever suffers this type of loss again. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cedillo. Senator Lowenthal, and then we'll go to Senator Keogh.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to adjourn in the memory of Marvin Marker. Marvin Marker was a very interesting person. Had no formal family, but the entire Long Beach community was Marvin Marker's family. 57 years ago, as a graduate of Wilson High School in Long Beach, Marvin decided to set up the Long Beach Junior Concert Band with no money, and that became Marvin's life. For the past 57 years, at every occasion in the city, at the Rose Bowl parade, any place where Marvin could go, that Junior Concert Band came. I knew Marvin very well. All the years I was on the city council, Marvin would be coming down asking for a few dollars to keep the Junior Concert Band going. His family were the thousands and thousands of students over the last 57 years who were part of the Junior Concert Band. I think it's fitting and appropriate that we honor just a person who was really a great Californian, Marvin Marker. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lowenthal. Senator Kehoe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two adjourned memories of important men who died just in the last few days in San Diego. First, federal judge Napoleon Jones was one of the very few African-American judges in San Diego County appointed to the municipal court in 1977. He was a mentor for judges who came after him. He went on to the federal bench, and there made a very important ruling in 2003 that struck down the contract between the Boy Scouts and the city for their rental area in Balboa Park because he cited it as a religious organization requiring members to take an oath, and the suit was brought, of course, by gay rights activists. When he struck down the contract, the Scouts were forced to leave Balboa Park and Fiesta Island. The case is under review in appellate court. But in addition to this, he was a strong advocate for people all over the county. He mentored younger judges in the local write-ups of his unfortunate death due to cancer. Many judges on the bench currently cited his guidance and support as strong impetus for getting them to the places they are today. And finally, I want to mention to everyone here, Saul Price, the innovative retail entrepreneur in San Diego, passed away last week at the age of 93. He started FedMart in 1954, went on to found the Price Club, which was then merged with Costco. He invented membership retail. Legend has it that Sam Walton thanked Saul Price for making him the richest man in America. But in addition to his phenomenal success, people say if you bought a $5,000 original share in Price Club, you'd be a millionaire many times over now. In addition to that, though, he was a strong and active Democrat on the national and local scene and a tremendous philanthropist. The Price Charities fund the Aaron Price Fellows that visit the Senate every year with teenage high school students that are interested in government and citizenship. He, in my city council district, worked for years on the City Heights redevelopment area, founding and funding the construction of a new public library, a swim center, and a new park. That redevelopment sparked market rate redevelopment, a new grocery store, retail, a police station, and a gymnasium. He was a tremendous influence on San Diego, and he will be missed.
Thank you, Senator Kehoe. Senator Strickland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I would like to join in the memory of my predecessor in the State Assembly, a former Assemblyman Nao Takasugi. Nao Takasugi was a small man, but left a huge footprint in this world. Nao Takasugi's blood type was O, and the joke around town was that stood for Oxnard. He was Mr. Oxnard. He served the community of Oxnard as mayor. He was on the Oxnard Harbor District. He served 6 years in the State Assembly from 1992 to 1998. I had the privilege of working for Nao Takasugi in my career, and I will tell you he's a man of integrity. In fact, Tom Brokaw wrote a book, and a whole chapter was dedicated to Nao Takasugi about the greatest generation. Nao Takasugi, during World War II, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, was sent to a Japanese internment camp. And someone said, if anybody had a right to be angry, it was Nao Takasugi. But he didn't have an angry bone in his body. He's a true gentleman, true statesman. My prayers go out to Judy Takasugi and the rest of the Takasugi family. I was very blessed to get to know Nao Takasugi, and I know those who served with him feel the same way. And may God rest his soul. And I would like the body to join in his memory.
Thank you, Senator Strickland. Members, any other privileges of the floor? Then we will go on to reports of committee. Will the Secretary please read?
Mr. President, the Chair of the Committee on Rules, to which was referred, Assembly Bill 1536, reports the same back with author's amendments with the recommendation to amend and re-refer to the committee. The Chair of the Committee on Appropriations, to which were referred, Senate Bill 732, Assembly Bill 511, reports the same back with author's amendments with recommendation to amend and re-refer to the committee. The Chair of the Committee on Appropriations, to which was referred, Senate Bill 677, reports the same back with author's amendments with the recommendation to amend and re-refer to the committee. The Chair of the Committee on Elections, Reapportionment, and Constitutional Amendments, to which was referred, Senate Bill 465, reports the same back with author's amendments with recommendation to amend and re-refer to the committee. The Chair of the Committee on Local Government, to which was referred, Senate Bill 711, reports the same back with author's amendments with the recommendation amend and re-refer to the committee.
Members, any more items that the members would like to take up at this point? We are waiting for Senate Education to conclude. Senator Price, can I have you come up for a moment? Thank you, Mr. President. We go to file item 80, Senate Bill 89.
Secretary, please read it. AB 105.
Assembly Bill 122 by Assemblymember Cotto, an act relating to gaming and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Thank you, members. This bill ratifies the Tribal State Gaming Compact entered between the state of California and the Upper Lake Tribe. This is a federally recognized tribe since 1986. The Aboriginal territory of this tribe is 500 acres along the northern shore of Clear Lake. They have a tribal population of 205, and they are still rolling qualified members. Members, the compact provides the tribe with the authority to operate a single gaming facility on tribal trust lands that are eligible for gaming. Members, the Upper Lake Tribe has already obviously negotiated and signed an MOU with their local county over mitigation measures and has gone well beyond most folks' expectations in that. We've also signed an MOU with the Lake County Special Services District and the North Shore Fire Protection District. Members, the tribe has agreed to a payment scale topping off at 15% payment of gross gaming revenues to the state of California. As with prior compacts, it requires that all revenue contributions to the state be deposited to the general fund. And of course, the tribe has already signed a collective. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Okay. The tribe has also agreed to a collective bargaining agreement with HERE. Members, I'd ask for your support of this particular bill, and we'd like to move it forward.
We have the wrong bill on the board. Senator Strickland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I rise in support of this compact. I think the legislature should be asking the question all the time, will this help us in our economy? Because I think the first, second, and third priority of the legislature should be jobs, jobs, and jobs. When you look at this compact, it'll help with the construction jobs. It'll help with tourism. It will contribute to revenue and financial growth to local businesses in the community. I think this is well thought out, and I think it's something that's worthy of our support. I urge my colleagues to support this compact.
Senator Kehoe.
For Senator Flores, just I have a concern about taking up these items in special session. We are here to focus on race to the top. These could easily be handled in regular session. I won't be able to vote on these items today. And in fact, Senator, if you could comment on why we're taking them up in special session, it might help me understand the process this morning.
Senator Flores.
Mr. President, I'm going to allow the GO chair, if I could, to explain the process of these compacts. We had a committee hearing yesterday, and hopefully that will answer Senator Kehoe's
Mr. Wright, any comments?
Thank you. Mr. President, members, we will be hearing two compacts today. One compact The one that Senator Flores is presenting is the Upper Lake Compact. What that compact will do is it will leave here and go directly to the governor for signature. The importance of that today and why it's necessary to do it in special session is that that compact is actually ready to go. It's fully addressable. That means that they will sign agreements and start putting steel in the ground within the next couple of weeks. That will enable them to actually start making money, not just on the contracting aspect, but they fully hope to open by June of this year. Part of the dilemma that they've had, members, is that they've been borrowing money to get through the process of getting the compact. By accelerating their process of doing that, we allow them to save hundreds of thousands of dollars in time cost of money. We allow them to jumpstart the economy in that region. Let me remind you, members, that the Konocti Harbor Resort just went bankrupt in that region. The Lake County Board of Supervisors came to the hearing yesterday and testified that they fully need this compact to go forward. As near as I'm able to tell, there was no opposition presented in the committee yesterday. The county and the region is fully invested in this project. Given the hardship and the unemployment that has already occurred in the Lake County region, this will be a shot in the arm to that region, and the least we could do, call it an early Christmas present, is to ensure that several hundred people in the Lake County region who are right now unemployed are able to go back to work. It will provide jobs, it will accelerate the construction process for them, and they have already cleared all of the hurdles, both environmental and otherwise, that they needed to do with the local government. I would ask for an aye vote, and it is an urgent matter to get this to the governor and be signed.
Any further discussion, Senator?
There was an error in the file item, so we need to go to file item 80 and have the clerk read that item, because this was an error.
Okay. We're going to correct the record. Clerk, read file item 80, please. Secretary.
Senate Bill 89 by the Senate Committee on Budget and Fiscal Review and Act relating to gaming and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Senator Harman, okay, fine. Senator Flores.
Thank you. This addresses Senator Harman's resiliency and understanding what we're actually presenting, and I want to thank him for that. This is the bill, members, we were just presenting. We had the wrong number on the board, and as Senator Wright mentioned the process earlier, so I just want to make sure everybody recognizes that the bill as it's been presented is the bill that's reflective on the board.
Thank you for that clarification. Senator Denham.
Mr. President, members, I rise in support. I would say that while the expediency of this measure is important to the jobs in our state, as well as to the revenue that will come into the general fund, the real reason that this warrants a support by all of us here is that it's about self-reliance. This is a federally recognized tribe with land in trust, and they deserve the right to not only have a compact, but to be able to conduct themselves as they see fit on their land.
Any further debate? Senator Flores, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just ask for an aye vote.
Secretary, call the roll.
Onnested? Aye. Alquist? Ashburn? No. Calderon? Cedillo? Cogdill? Corbett? Correa? Aye. Cox? Aye. Denham? Aye. Dusaunier? No. Ducheney? Dutton? Aye. Flores? Aye. Hancock? Harman? Aye. Hollingsworth? Aye. Huff? Kehoe? No. Leno? Liu? Lowenthal? Maldonado? Negrete McLeod? Oropesa? Padilla? Pavley? Price?
Aye.
Aye. Romero? Runner? Aye. Smidian? Steinberg? Aye. Strickland? Aye. Walters? Aye. Wiggins? Aye. Wolk? No. Right. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Cedillo, aye. Oropesa, aye. Negrete McLeod, aye. Lowenthal, no. Leno, no.
Senator Flores moves the call. Next item. Senator Wright is recognized.
Members, file item 105.
Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 122 by Assemblymember Cotto, an act relating to gaming and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Mr. Wright.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this is another compact. Unlike the previous bill, this compact is simply going to move to the Assembly. The full elements of the compact, while they were done with the governor, this compact will still require the support of the local government. We spoke just today with the Mendocino County Council. They are not opposed, but be clear that this compact will not go into steel in the ground until such time as an MOU is signed between Mendocino County and the Pinoleville Indian tribe. So I don't want to present the impression to the members that as you vote for this, you are abrogating the obligation that the tribe has to have a local MOU with Mendocino County. The previous tribe has already done that. Therefore, their compact will move to the governor today, fully signed. One of the things, members, that I want to remind you is that in the compact process, as long as we maintain an adequate process, we get to control the outcome of what occurs. One of the things, again, that makes this important is that both of these tribes have been in negotiations for some time. If we bog down the process, they can bypass us and go to the federal government. One of the things that happens if they go to the federal government is that the federal government doesn't have to recognize the state's concern about receiving revenue, and it changes all the dynamics, and we lose any control that we have because the federal Department of the Interior then can control the dynamics of the compact. That makes it important for us in the state of California, in order to avoid losing control, to maintain the 15% percentage that we get off the slot machines to advance this compact. Again, there will be no bypassing of the local government. They will work with the county of Mendocino to make sure that all of the local issues are dealt with. There was a water issue. There were a couple of issues that will still have to be resolved. This bill will conclude in the Assembly, where Senator Chesborough and the other representatives of the GO committee there, chaired by Assemblymember Cotto, will make sure that this compact is finished. Well, we want to make sure, again, that we accelerate and give the Pinoleville Indians the opportunity to advance their compact so that they too can get open. This will not open as soon as the other one because it simply is not as far advanced. But it is worthy today of your vote to move it from this House to the Assembly for a final vote, where it will then possibly come back to us. It will not come back to us because compacts by law cannot be amended. So you're voting on a compact that was drafted by the governor, that was heard in an informational hearing, that is coming to you for effective ratification. I'd ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Senator Harman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in strong support of this compact that's being submitted to the Senate today for approval. You know, these types of compacts follow a blueprint that the governor's office has been using for the past couple of years. The compact under the terms will produce many new jobs in this particular area, well-paying construction jobs, engineering jobs associated with the construction of the new casino facility. And then once it is up and running, there of course will be a number of new jobs created, also enhance tourism and visitors coming to this area of the state. There are many, many reasons to support this, but with jobs being one of the primary focuses that we need to look at here in the legislature to try and turn around the economic ship of state here in California, this is a good way to do it. I urge an aye vote.
Any further discussion, debate? Senator Wright, you may close.
Again, I would urge an aye vote. There is no opposition that has been listed from the local government to this compact. It was taken out on March 10th of 2009. They too want to get its steel in the ground as quickly as they possibly can. And I want to emphasize that this does not bypass the opportunity for local government to have input into the process of the compact and the MOU. So this is going to the Assembly and not to the governor, and those issues will be worked out with Mendocino County, but this will avert us losing the authority to control the dynamics of the compact to the federal government. I would ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
Onnested? Aye. Alquist? Ashburn? No. Calderon? Cedillo? Aye. Cogdill? Corbett? Correa? Aye. Cox? Aye. Denham? Aye. DeSaulnier? No. DeCheney? Dutton? Aye. Flores? Aye. Hancock? Harmon? Aye. Hollingsworth? Aye. Huff? Kehoe? No. Leno? No. Liu? Lowenthal? No. Maldonado? Negrete McLeod? Aye. Oropesa? Aye. Padilla? Pavley? Price?
Aye.
Aye. Romero? Runner? Aye. Simidian? Steinberg? Aye. Strickland? No. Walters? Aye. Wiggins? Aye. Wolk? No. Wright? Aye. Weiland? Yee. Strickland, no to aye.
Okay, Senator Wright moves the call. At this time, the Senate will be in recess until call of the Pro Tem. Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you very much, Senator Price. That's, Mr. President, that's exactly correct. Just I'll give a little bit more detail. There are obviously a couple of measures now on call. There are a couple more retirement resolutions, but we will reconvene when the Education Committee, then the Appropriations Committee finishes with the Race to the Top legislation. And then hopefully we can conclude our business expeditiously. In the meantime, we will break for a long lunch at this point and call people back as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Senate is in recess.